All right, what's going on, world, man? Appreciate y'all tuning in and checking this out, man, today. Welcome to the very first episode of Indie Music Major Business. That's right, y'all. Indie Music Major Business. I am your host, Muggs a Million, and I'm in the building representing Money United with Game. And again, man, the mission for this is to motivate, educate, and elevate music professionals all across the world, man. We're using my life's journey and testimony, a lot of the education and wisdom I've been able to get over the years and experience that I had in the music industry to try to hopefully teach y'all, guide y'all, and show y'all the way to how to maneuver through the music industry as an indie musician, a music professional, but also give you some game on some of the major business that comes along with being a part of this industry, man. I want to first start off, man, again, I want to dedicate this episode right here to my mother, Stephanie Bond Peoples. She left this earth in November of 2021. She was my number one fan and my biggest cheerleader when it came to me pursuing my career in the music industry. She bought me this number one Billboard plaque after I won it and whatnot, man. And so just want to dedicate this episode to my moms. And yeah, man, we're going to jump on into it, man. Again, my name is Muggs a Million. You can find me on Instagram at MUGS_A million. It's MUGS_A million. I just want to break down a little intro on myself, my background, man. I come from being a recording artist and performer. Graduated and elevated into becoming a songwriter. That's how I ended up getting my number one Billboard plaque. And we'll get a little more into that in detail. But typical start of most professionals in the music industry, man. It was a fun thing for me early on as a kid. Started off doing like background dancing for this cover band that was real popular here in Nashville. And by the way, if I haven't told you that, man, I am a Nashville native. So yeah, we right here live in the music capital of the world. And by way of West Tennessee, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Sun Studios down in Memphis, man, at 40 West or 40 East, back and forth. Tennessee is just known for music, man. It's a music highway. So I've had a blessing of, like I said, my family, my mom and them migrating from West Tennessee to putting me here right here in Nashville, Tennessee, man. And just getting to taste the best of both worlds, man, when it comes to the music industry. From different points of views and all sides of it. But again, just back to my story, my journey. Like I said, starting off from just background dancing to teaming up with my brother and a couple of my cousins, performing at birthday parties, family reunions. Not really just taking it all the way serious, but we were talented enough to where people continued to want us to come out and do performances. And so I just kind of took a liking to it at a very young age. Again, having an actual talent for it is what really forced other people to say, this is something you need to start really looking at doing. And so, you fast forward me doing it with my cousins and my brother to getting into high school age and teaming up with some of the guys from the neighborhood, a couple of guys from my school, and performing like in front of actual people, like not family members, man, but performing in front of my classmates, people from the neighborhood and things like that. And that feedback and confirmation there is what really solidified me and allowed me to really see like, okay, this is something I could pursue and would love to do, probably for the rest of my life, you know what I'm saying? Especially at the time. So anyhow, like I said, I remember doing the first talent show that we did, man, in 1999. And so, yeah, kind of telling my age a little bit, but hey, I'm an OG, man. OG, whatever you want to call it, baby. That's me. But early on, man, doing that performance and even after the performance, man, just seeing the feedback from people from my neighborhood, my peers that I went to school with, that really gave me that super confidence and super, like I said, confirmation that like this is something you really need to start doing. And so that's what we did, man. Recorded my very first song at around age 15 in a major studio down here in Nashville on Music Row with a record company at the time, Do It Yourself Records. It was an independent label here in Nashville. Gave us our first shot at recording our first record, man. And that record ended up being called Cash Billionaires, man. I ended up pinning the hook for that and taking the hook and saying, you know what, that need to be the name of our group. And so we ran with the group named Cash Billionaires. Had a nice run with Cash Billionaires early on, man, as I was an early teenager. During the time, I was just going by the name Mug because it just kind of stemmed from some freestyle stuff that I was doing around the neighborhood and in the hallways of the school. And then I elevated Mug to the acronym MUG. And MUG became Money United with Game. And during that time, early on in my solo career, and just everything I was doing in the beginning stages of me being a rapper, Money United with Game was my actual name. It was my stage name. And so you fast forward to the creation of MUG, Money United with Game, and the group Cash Billionaires. Once Cash Billionaires kind of came to a halt and I had to pivot and rebrand everything, I ended up coming with Billionaire Status, a play on words off of Cash Billionaires, but just kind of more grown up, it's a little more elevated and really more set of a mindset, more so of a mindset at the time, man. It was just a Billionaire Status. So I linked up with one of my cousins for that as well, man. And, me and Shorty C, we went on a nice super run, building the Billionaire Status roster, building the Billionaire Status brand, taking everything kind of to a national level. That's when I could remember taking everything outside of Nashville and actually going on the road, Ohio, Kentucky, Indianapolis, and really just networking outside of my hometown and really taking my music on the road, taking my brand on the road and really building it to something that I could really sit back and say, man, we really are doing this though. We really making some progress. We really making some moves with this thing, man. So from Billionaire Status, I ended up having to go into a full-blown solo scenario. I think it was 2005 when I dropped my very first solo project, was self-titled Money United with Game. And from there, even prior to me dropping the first solo, again, not trying to brag on myself or anything like that, but from the people's response, I kind of always stood out, I guess, so to speak, in the groups that I was a part of. And people was already kind of just telling me, you should do something by yourself, too. I know you're doing your thing with your crew. I know you got the thing with your record label. But, you need to drop something, though. And so I kind of started taking heed to what the people were saying. And, again, you get the first MUG, Money United with Game project, man, in 2005. You fast forward from there, and I ended up releasing my very first, what I would say is national project that really was outside of local release, outside of what we were doing, as far as taking CDs and stuff for consignment at the local record stores. When I released a project in 2008 alongside DJ Smalls. Shout out to DJ Smalls, Mr. Southern Smoke. A lot of y'all probably familiar with him if you came up in the mixtape era. He was real heavy when it came to the mixtapes. And so I did a project alongside DJ Smalls, man, in 2008, which was titled Money United with Game 2, The Standing Ovation. So again, from there, taking that project, releasing that on a full-blown national scale, again, I already had been prepared to take my music and my brand on the road from what we was doing prior to me going solo as Money United with Game. And just seeing how networking outside of your hometown was completely different from the networking you did at home. The love and support that was shown to you from other places, it outweighed the somewhat hate every now and then that you receive in your hometown. So I say that part there to just encourage any music professional, artist especially, that may be watching this right now or listening to this, and just get you to understand, man, don't feel like your city is the only city where it seems like you're not progressing. you got to take your music outside of your hometown. You got to get outside of your comfort zone and really get out there and touch the people, meet the people. I know nowadays the internet has made a lot of y'all feel like you don't have to get out and actually network with people. But that's some of the major business that I feel like comes with being an indie music professional, right? If you're doing indie music, you can't sit back and just depend on the internet. Like, we saw real growth. My very first paid show was out of town. You know, we was getting paid shows out of town. We was connecting with other artists, like artists that became major artists at some point. You know, we was meeting them on the ground level by getting out of town, going to other cities, and really getting out there networking and pushing our brands, man. And so, you know, again, after I released the Money Now with Game 2 with DJ Smalls, again, man, just kind of went to that next level. So you fast forward around 2009, I released my first, what I would say is like commercial single called It's You Again. And I was still here in Nashville at the time, you know, pushing the brand outside of the city, but still operating here in the city of Nashville as well. And so with me doing that, I was getting radio play, I was getting spins in the clubs, you know, the DJs was taking a real good liking to my record, taking a liking to me. But I reached a ceiling. You know, here in Nashville, man, you would not think that being the music capital of the world, that it was a ceiling for any type of music, man. But unfortunately for the rap genre and the hip hop genre of music, it was a ceiling here, man. I could remember going to BMI, sitting down with my rep and letting them hear some of my music, telling them some of my goals and plans that I wanted to do to take my music to the next level. And I would always get the same response, that your music is good, we like it, but it's nothing we can do for you here. How about we connect you to somebody at our Atlanta office or our LA office? And I'm just like, man, this is crazy. Like, these people are really forcing me to have to go somewhere else outside of the music city to take my music career to the next level. And so that was fine. You know, again, everything happens for a reason, man. So I want you to understand that too. With adversity and challenges that you face on your journey, sometimes it's to stretch you outside of your comfort zone, to push you to go to a new level and the next level that you might have been afraid to do or that you was hesitant to do. And, you know, in this industry, man, in this business, you got to just go for it. You know, you got to believe in yourself 1,000%. And you got to take those chances, man. Win, lose, or draw. You got to get out there and just go for it. You know, the opportunity definitely not going to knock on your door. You got to go out there and you got to go find those opportunities sometime. So one thing that I did do prior to getting up out of Nashville is I ended up going to school. I went to Nashville State, a community college here, man, and took on their music program, where I was able to educate myself on the music business, music publishing. I took songwriting classes, studio recording, and different things like that that prepared me for what the journey of my music career was about to take me to. So after graduating from school, I did exactly what those that, you know, the people at BMI and the other labels that I was going and talking to, publishing companies I was going and talking to at the time, I took their advice and I moved to Atlanta, you know. So I packed it up, moved to Atlanta from Nashville. Didn't really have a particular game plan or strategy, being honest. I just knew I needed to get to where the opportunities that I was seeking would be available to me. You know, it was already told blatantly to me, straight to my face, that Nashville wasn't going to be the place where that was going to happen. So I had to go elsewhere, man. And so Atlanta ended up being my next move. And it was a blessing, you know, through a lot of the networking and relationships that I had already built, being out on the road and pushing my music. I knew a few people that was already in Atlanta in position, making moves as well. And so one of those people ended up being Sedell Young, a producer from Indianapolis that was already there in Atlanta, was made himself super established already. By the time I got to Atlanta and linked with him, he had already had a production deal with DJ Toomp. was doing records for Rick Ross and a few other artists and stuff, man, that was kind of bubbling up during that time frame. And so the very first record that me and Sid did, man, like I like to jump into this head on, man, because I want this to be a testimony to you as a music professional that's listening to this, that's checking this out. The very first song I did, man, so for one, I sacrificed and made the move to Atlanta, man. Again, shout out to my guy DJ B-Dog. Told me, come on through, don't worry about nothing, man, you just get here. And so I got there, man, you know what I'm saying? Again, DJ B-Dog is another person, him and DJ Dave. I met them through the journey. They all from Indianapolis, man, but they all was in there down in Atlanta, you know, at the time too, man, had already made their move. And so those guys there, man, they embraced me once I got to Atlanta, and man, set me up real right, man. I was hosting clubs while they was DJing. And then again, man, Sid, we linked up. And the very first song we did, man, this is no lie, the very first record we did in the studio was called Through the Roof. And I mean, we was in the studio going through the roof, literally, man. And that's kind of how the hook and the concept of the song came about. But so initially, it was my record. It was a song that I planned on putting on probably a mixtape or whatever project I ended up working on, which I did end up putting out a project called Keep in Touch. But I wasn't really focused on just trying to be a rapper real heavy, because I ended up getting an internship at a recording studio. Shout out to Icon Studios, man. Icon Studios down in Atlanta. Miss Tasha Stone Stafford, man. And of course, my OG, man, Dr. Ian F. Burke. They were some great people, man, to be able to allow the internship that they did, man. As young people that was fresh out of school, some was still in school, but they gave us some super hands-on experience. Being able to be food runners or working at the front desk, booking studio sessions and stuff like that for some of the major labels and major artists that was coming through Atlanta recording. And so just being in that environment, and then even fresh off of getting educated in school on how the music business worked, now I'm seeing the music business work hands-on. It kind of gave me a different mindset and a different approach. So the song that me and Sid did, you fast forward, it actually ended up becoming my first placement as a songwriter. So again, I went into it as a rapper, and it evolved me to a songwriter, because what ended up happening was Sid was shopping some of his beats around, and he had contacted me and told me, man, hey, I want to take that song we did, that Through the Roof record, I want to take your verses off of there. And I just want to keep the hook on the song, and we're going to shop it around with that hook on there, with alongside of the other beats that I'm going to be sending to different artists. And had I not, again, went to school, understood how songwriting works, understood how music publishing works, being able to complete and fill out a split sheet, that probably would have been something I'd have been like, nah, bro, you're not going to take my song and give it to another artist. But I understood how the business worked. Again, as an indie music professional, you have to understand the major business that comes along with this industry that you're a part of. You may go into a situation as a rapper, but if the producer you working with has an opportunity to get that song to an artist that's probably bigger than you or in a better position than you to get that song out there, fall back. Take your splits, your share of the writer share, your share of the publishing on the split sheet, and get your money on the back end. They're going to make that song bigger than you could make it. I guarantee you. I probably was going to, like I said, put it on one of my mixtapes or something. Not even sure. But again, you fast forward, after Sid made that phone call, he made another phone call to me saying, hey, this artist by the name of Chris Webby, he took a couple of my beats. One of them is going to be the one with your Through the Roof hook on it. He actually picked the song to go on his album. Don't you know that that album came out and it debuted #1 on the Billboard Heat Seekers charts? And that was the very first song, like I said, that I recorded when I moved to Atlanta. So when I talk about indie music, major business, that's the basics and the foundation of where my story and my testimony begins. Indie Music Major Business is actually a book that I wrote. So you fast forward the #1 Billboard, and I wrote a book consisting of my journey, consisting of educating and elevating music professionals like yourself on how this stuff really works, man. Everything from the split sheets to the actual PROs themselves, man, what the performance rights organization responsibility is, how you get paid when you go do live shows, how you get paid when your song gets played on the radio, all of that, man. It's all in the book. I got hard copies of the book, but it's also streaming right now on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, anywhere you go and listen to and download your music. You can go and find the book, Indie Music Major Business. Did an audiobook version of it, and I'm breaking down a lot of jewels, a lot of tools that you can use to elevate and take your career to the next level, especially if you're a beginner. If you're at the beginning stages of your music career, I highly suggest you go and check out Indie Music Major Business. I highly suggest you subscribe to my YouTube channel right here, Money United with Game TV, because I'm going to keep dropping these episodes bit by bit, breaking down the book, taking your questions, through my Instagram. So again, if you want to find me on IG, MUGS_A1,000,000. I would love for y'all to DM me with any music related questions that you may have pertaining to the music industry, pertaining to my book. If you done checked out the book already, or by the time you check out this episode and you go and check out the book, any questions you may have, anything you don't completely understand about it, let's get into it though, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, my name is Muggs A Million. This is Indie Music Major Business. And our mission, man, the main mission is to motivate, educate, and elevate music professionals all across the world, man. I'm giving you Money United with Game. You get what I'm saying? So stay tuned in with your boy. I appreciate y'all checking this out. Again, it's just an introductory episode. I just wanted y'all to get familiar with who I am, what I'm about, what my journey consists of. And again, we'll be breaking a lot more down in some more details. But for now, that's what you're going to get, man. Thank y'all for tuning in, for checking your boy out. Again, Indie Music Major Business, man. Let's go.